Hey, it's the Four with Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
And today,
we're going to talk about sex. No, I want to ask you, I'd like to dive into one of your top-selling books. It's called Your Dating Rotation, a comprehensive guide to building, managing, and maintaining your rotation of girls. And I think that this is something that whether a guy wants to be the next Hugh Hefner or wants to be the next happily married man down the street and have a great family life and everything in between, I think every male can benefit from this book. And I kind of want your hot take on it. How did this come about? What you envision for these guys who are reading it? Just the synopsis.
Okay, and this is what I've it's one of those things that I did, and that's how I was running my life when I met you.
Yeah.
And how I would probably, in most situations, run my life. But what I realized writing this book and getting it out there in front of people was every man for a little bit of time should manage a rotation of girls.
Yeah.
Because the feeling of abundance and the ease of sex and what you learn in that process, you realize, for lack of a better word, that women are very much alike.
Right.
There are some outliers.
Sure.
They're kind of interchangeable sometimes. You're not as emotionally, involved. What they're capable of.
Yeah.
You realize that, not every girl really has to know you that well to have sex with you. There's all kinds of lessons.
Oh, yeah.
You really get a very realistic grasp of men and women.
Yeah.
And you definitely, see the whole world differently. And it's available to anyone.
Yeah.
There is one caveat that, a couple guys reached out to me before I wrote this book when I'd suggest to do this, and they were like, I can only date one girl at a time.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's their hard wiring.
Sure.
It's like, what do you call it? Like serial monogamy.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority of guys, and this is what I try to convey, is it doesn't have to be forever.
No.
These guys go, I don't want to run, a bunch of chicks, forever. I want, a girlfriend. Well, it's a good way to find one girlfriend is by going through a lot of girls in 3 to 6 months' time, all kind of dating. You can find the right one. In fact, the right one will rise to the top.
Aww. Well, and what I find also to be true is that when you're dating more than one girl at a time, you're the constant. You can see how different girls respond to your life situations, your moods, your desires at the same time in comparison. So if you're doing serial monogamy, you're seeing how a girl responded back then, a year ago, to the person you were then. And then you're trying to compare that to this girl you're dating now in maybe a totally different kind of situation.
You're a different person.
You're literally different.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's beneficial to truly be able to kind of pick and choose the things you like and dislike about women or about different women, because you're truly comparing apples to apples instead of trying to count on your memory to serve you properly from the past also.
Exactly. And just to give an overview, to build up a rotation, you're going to have to go out a lot.
Yeah.
At least initially. You're going to have to go out on a few dates, close those dates, start seeing one girl a couple times a week. Not more than once a week is ideal, but sometimes guys will see them twice a week.
Yeah.
I have different rules within the book, suggestions that what works best.
It's really good.
To keep your distance and keep the girl attracted to you. These are important things. And so let's just say once a week. But that also gives you time to start still dating. You just don't stop with the initial girl. It takes a little while, and it can be a month, or 3 weeks to a month to kind of build up 2 or 3 girls, maybe 4. Guys, when I put out a feeler for this, I was like, what's the ideal number? And I had guys running 8 girls, which you can kind of do if you have girls coming in and out of town.
Yeah.
You can do that if you have like a lot of traffic like Orlando. But the number that kept coming up and what I found too was about 3.
Yeah.
2 is not enough and they can run into each other and you're not busy enough.
Yeah.
So we say it's like everything else. It's like 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is 2.
Yeah.
You know, 3 is just right. And if one girl falls off, you still got 2 and you can keep moving forward and you just replace her. And so within about a month, 6 weeks, you'll have 3 girls that you're seeing, and it may, whatever you mean seeing them to you, they come over to your apartment and hang out and have wine and dinner, and stay the night. But basically, I always tell guys, in an ideal world, everybody kind of runs their schedule differently. You have Miss Tuesday and you have Miss Wednesday, and I try to get people to stay away from weekends because it gives girls the wrong impression.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
And some of these girls have their own ideas. Maybe they want to stay Saturday.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, they do. And then they try to stay Sunday. You have to have a line. And different guys you'll have different levels of discipline for these girls.
Sure.
But you'll tend to notice that you kind of rule with an iron fist at times because you will become very quickly used to getting your own way.
That's very true.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And you have to. I mean, it really does teach you leadership skills and client management in a way. Because you're like, who am I talking to right now? And you got to remember. I mean, we even give you suggestions on how to keep track of girls in your phone.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see a lot of girls sometimes. You'll have 5 or 6 floating around.
Or just, as you're pulling new girls or meeting new
Yes.
girls, whether they're in the rotation or not, there are a lot that are kind of orbiting.
Yeah.
That you're going to have to
at different
keep track
stages.
of.
Yeah. And that's the deal. I mean, you get that 3, and you don't have to do this forever.
No.
You can know what you want. You can know, hey, I'm going to sort this out and find a girlfriend, or, down the road, or I'm going to get married. I decided that I'm going to get married. But this is a good way to casually date. We show you how to avoid the "what are we" conversations.
Right.
You avoid hurt feelings.
Yeah.
You avoid. We do not recommend lying under any circumstances. This is very much a Playboy lifestyle where people know who you are and what you do, and you will be amazed at how many people are fine with that.
And it actually causes, I would say, less drama to be on the up and up and to run it this way than to try to, quote unquote, date 2 or 3 girls. Like,
very hard.
I feel like this is more of a lifestyle choice, whether it's short or long term.
Yeah.
That actually prevents drama. And most guys that we talk to, it seems like they fear on the outside that it's going to cause drama. It actually prevents it.
It does. And you embody the type of guy that has 3 or 4 girls that he's seen.
Yeah.
And girls quickly fall in line with that.
They do. And
because they will opt out. That's the thing. Guys are always like, well, what if a girl that I start dating, isn't down with it? Girls are smart.
Yeah.
If they smell, and they usually do this even before they agree to come meet you.
Yeah.
That you're a player, they're not going to go out with you. But if they're open to the idea, they're going to go out.
Right.
And they're probably going to fall into the rotation.
Yeah.
Because you serve a purpose for them too.
Yeah.
At this time.
Exactly.
And that's the deal with a rotation is it's up front. You don't rub their noses in the fact that you see other girls. But it's not hidden either.
Right.
Right. You don't talk about it, but you don't hide it. And then if they ask, but they won't, which is the amazing thing, you have to be upfront about it.
Yeah, you don't pretend to be exclusive with just them.
But, protecting their feelings and, everybody kind of understands and they know and they sense it. And the girls are smart and they pick it up from the different things, the way you act. You're not always available. They know.
Yeah.
They don't drop by because they're afraid some girl will be there.
Right.
That it's a respectful, and they may never admit to their girlfriends that they knew you were seeing other guys.
Right.
Because that's just one of those girl world things.
Right.
Did I say you're seeing other guys?
I think they knew what you meant.
Yeah, and because they are, and this is the one caveat, and a lot of guys can't handle this, and I'm going to put it out there, is the girls, you can't have a big jealousy streak.
Yeah.
You know, the girls are probably going to be dating still, and you have to let that be what it is. You know, these guys, these poor guys, and I do mean poor guys that are like, well, I want everybody to be exclusive to me.
Uh-huh.
But I don't want to have any monogamy for the, you know what I mean? It's not a healthy thing to request.
No.
And you can't worry about it. But let me put it this way. You'll be so busy, you won't know what anybody else is doing anyway.
That's very true.
It's, you know, in your mind, or how you fantasize, or how you think of these things, how they work out, they're really, you're so busy and you're having such a good time. And you are the good time when they see you.
Yeah.
These girls, they don't bring drama. Very little drama, if any at all. Mm-hmm. And we show you how to deal with drama if it does right. You don't, because girls know when they see you, it's going to be, I'm going to meet up with them. We're going to have a couple drinks. We're going to have sex. And I'm going to be able to get a break from all this shit that I'm dealing with.
That's right.
You know, for 12 hours, she gets to be a princess, you know.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, everybody wins, and girls will get in line and do this, and you benefit, and you learn how to manage women, and it's just one of the best ways. And you can sort them out. You can go, this one girl stands out, and then you end up with one girl, and that's fine.
Yeah,
you know, and you will get good at dating too.
And it actually, I would say, it actually helps even if you are more seeking a wife. You know, it'll help you. It'll even help you manage your daughters. I mean, the whole nine yards.
And it's funny because if you ask around, you ask people, how did you meet? Think about how many happy wives there are. Oh, when I met him, he was a player.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, they have gone through it, you know, and came out the other end with a husband that they're happy with.
Happy as can be.
So, he was a player. Oh my God, he was a man about town. Uh-huh. You know, there's a lot of girls will use different code words. You know, and that's they won't always say Playboy, but they'll say, you know, he was a man about town.
Yeah,
he was very well known.
He was very well known.
He was very well known, and that's the rotation. But the book walks you into how to make it happen, how to minimize or eliminate the drama, and you can decide what you want to do with those girls once you kind of have them built up in your rotation.
Yeah.
You know, you can pick a wife, or you can just keep going indefinitely.
Yeah.
But and everybody, you know, makes their own choices. So it's very flexible.
It's very flexible. It's a great guide.
Yeah.
And I think that every man
should experience it for a little while.
That's right.
Yeah.
That abundance of pussy.
If you want to order, the link is below, or you can go to fortworthplayboy.com under products.
Yeah.
And if you see this video, you can hear my voice. The link is somewhere on here. It's above or below. Okay? Instant download.
Yeah. It's that good. And if you know of anybody who could use this book, please share it with them. If you like it, subscribe. If you've purchased this and have had great luck, we'd love to hear your comments down below. We want you to win across the board.